In this video, we're going to be talking about how a B2B SaaS tool was able to go viral on social media using their own unique strategy. We're going to be talking about the pros and cons of the strategy and if it is something you should be pursuing if you are a B2B SaaS product. Overall, this account was just very fascinating to look into since B2B products are notoriously known for being hard to market on social media, but this account and brand has truly cracked the code on how to do it. If you're wondering who I am, my name is Andrew, and between my co-host and I, we have over 1 million followers on social media, and we also help businesses scale and grow their brands with organic social media content. Overall, we're just obsessed with what makes brands go viral on social media, so it sounds good to you. Sit back, enjoy the episode. All right, so the account I want to talk about today is one called TLDV. And essentially what TLDV is, it is an AI meeting recorder. It joins your meetings like Zoom calls, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, I guess, and it will take notes, summarize meetings, and do other things like draft a follow-up emails, do some AI analysis, make you understand what's happening in a meeting, and help you with optimizing and work productivity after the meetings. And it's targeted towards corporate professionals or people that work in sales. You know, for salespeople, it'll basically help you understand why you potentially didn't close the sale or why you did close the sale. Also do some analytics on the back end. But this account is interesting because it is a B2B product targeted at businesses. Yeah, technically you could be an individual that uses these tools to basically help you with your workflow. But to my knowledge, and from looking at the account and from looking at their website, it looks like their target audience predominantly is businesses. And I think this account is very fascinating to look at because number one, I think a lot of B2B companies have a lot of problems on social media. They don't know how to properly market the products. And number two, generally, I discourage people who run B2B tools from marketing on social media. But I think looking at this account is actually showing me a new different way in which a B2B product can be successful on social media with a more alternative style of social media marketing, which I'm gonna get into right now. So the first content I want to talk about are their viral skits. Now this account is ran by maybe one person, but they also have a second character that also helps with like the account and the content. But their main format are funny skits about corporate environment where teams are interacting with one another. So it'll be like the development team, customer success, people working in sales, the CEO, HR, quality assurance, and it'll show the ridiculous and kind of like ironic conversations these teams will have with one another and just how the dynamic is in a corporate environment. And it's funny because we all know in corporate America, there's a lot of stuff, a lot happening. There's a lot of miscommunication. There's a lot of things that, you know, people get thrown under the bus. Oh, yeah. Just people making false promises to get themselves ahead. You know, a bunch of bullshit happens in corporate America, right? And I think this account perfectly encapsulates that vibe, that emotion that people feel in corporate America. And it's very smart because who are the individuals watching this account? Is people working in corporate America. So this account almost never mentions that they are a brand account, but they make a lot of skits that are relatable to the audience that they're trying to market to. So naturally, people who are watching the account, watching the skits, maybe eventually they get curious and they go over to the account, they go click on the website, they're like, oh, this is an AI meeting recorder. That's all this account is. But I guarantee you, whenever in the future, someone needs an AI meeting recorder that wants to like, you know, optimize or take notes and summarize the meetings of what's happening, it'll be the first product that comes to their mind. This account was very smart in a way where it's a B2B product and they almost never mention that they are a company, but because they go so viral with all of their skits, with just the amount of people that trickle into account and trickle into the link in bio, they're able to play this game and still make the product work on social media. Not to mention, they also did a very good job in which they're very smart that they had a couple pinned videos, and each of those pinned videos on the profile. So, you know, the first video you see when you go to profile, right? They're all the product plugs so that whenever someone has been watching the viral skits, the first video they see when they go to profile that's pinned directly sells them on the product, which is something you recommend to do as well.
I think what's really smart about this, because I think a lot of B2B companies, and myself included, where, you know, both you and I, we've done a little bit of like social media consulting for some other B2B products as well. And they're like, should I do social media marketing? And I think for a long time, I would always say no. But I think this account has also changed my mind on that because sure, like, are they from a viral video, are they going to get a ton of signups, ton of users? Probably not. But at the end of the day, like what you mentioned as well, it's like eventually these groups of people, the PMs, the CEOs, the corporate people, if they need this type of tool, TLDV is going to be top of
They're
mind.
going to go talk to their managers and be like, I know about this tool, right?
Exactly.
And they're like, let's go talk to enterprise sales about this.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like B2B at its core, typically like traditional B2B marketing, it's always a numbers game because you generate leads. The sales cycle can be really long, but once those sales cycles finish, the LTV, the lifetime value for that customer is usually so big. So I actually think this is a great strategy as well, where they know inherently a viral video is not always going to give us a huge customer, but as long as we stay top of mind, that we're an account that they love to follow, they love to see our content, when that moment comes, we're going to get huge value from that customer. By the way, if you're a founder that is interested in marketing your product on social media, then you want to check out the contentmarketingblueprint.com. It's a database of SaaS products that have successfully grown and marketed themselves on social media, and we track the accounts and all of their formats that they're posting, so you can filter down all the accounts and formats by their niche to see what exactly is working for other products in the niche that you're interested in. You can check it out at the contentmarketingblueprint.com.
100%. And I want to talk about the pros and cons of the strategy. I think the main pros and cons of following the strategy is the pros are it's great for virality. You can go very viral because naturally funny, entertaining content just does better on social media. People go onto social media to kind of clock out and check out their brains and just kind of rot away and be entertained. Not a lot of times people want to be sold on something when they're scrolling on social media, right? So because of that reason, generating this type of content has more virality potential. It's great for building community because you're helping people, you're entertaining people, you're giving them a laugh throughout their day. So people like you, people come back, people want to keep watching, people want to keep watching the characters that you're acting out. But the cons of this is it does require a longer term game plan because like we said before, people aren't immediately going to know that you are a product. It's going to take longer time that people keep watching your videos, that eventually they get curious. They want to wonder who you are and exactly what the account is about. And that's when they go click on the link in bio. That's when they go click on the pinned video. But afterwards, you are top of mind for this target customer that you have because the content you've been making is directly targeted at this customer avatar. But overall, it is a longer term game plan. So if you're trying to like go fast, get customers immediately, it is harder to go down this route. But at the same time, it has more longevity too. But I will say most B2B companies are started by people either already in the industry. That's why you understand this B2B problem. The only way you know about B2B problems is when you worked inside business, most of the time at least. Because if you think about most college students, they don't know what business to business problems occur. They only understand, number one, most college students start edtech tools because they understand the college community.
That's all they know.
Yeah, or they start consumer apps, or they try to sell physical products, e-commerce, because they don't understand B2B problems. So a lot of times these companies would be started by people who are probably older, probably have a little more money, and maybe have a little more funding. So if you're a B2B tool out there and you do fit that criteria that I just talked about, this is a viable game plan to go after, but please know it is a longer term game plan. You're not going to see that immediate uptick, that sexy stripe dashboard where you see that hockey stick line. It's going to be definitely more of a linear growth. But last but not least, I think this is a huge caveat. Look, this account is great, but there's one thing that I need to mention. If you're not funny, this isn't going to work. So this is the ultimate X factor, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about how great this account is, how genius the strategy is, but there's one thing you have to keep in mind. You kind of need to be good at making content. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you're not funny, you're not good at making content, this is not going to work for you regardless. But in that case where either you are funny, you are good at making content, or you go out and hire someone that's phenomenal at making the content, what you could do on the back end to kind of have a more steady growth outside just organic socials and hoping people, clicking your link in bio and know who you are, is you can run paid ads and retarget your follower, retarget the same people that watch your content. So they know your organic content for your funny videos, your entertaining skits, and then you target that same audience with a familiar face, right? Because the face will ideally is the same creator being like, hey, remember me? We have a product. This is our product. And you can run paid ads behind the scenes.
I don't know why I didn't realize that. That's so fucking smart. Where you're right. It's like you just make your organic content optimized to get the biggest audience you possibly can. When it's time for you to upsell a serious product, dude, paid ads, retarget audience similar to your existing audience on Instagram. That's a genius strategy.
And then there's trust built into it because people already recognize the content creator. They like the content creator. So chances are they're more willing to watch the ad and listen to whatever it is that person is talking about. And also, last but not least, influencer marketing will also be easier for you because when you do influencer marketing, who are you reaching out to? You're reaching out to other influencers within that community, within that space. And chances are these influencers have seen your video because I assume they're in your space. They probably watch your videos or follow you. As a content creator myself, and Thomas, maybe you agree with me on this. If a brand reaches out to me and I'm a fan of them, I am definitely more lenient with my contract negotiations and like 100%. The pricing. I'll be like, I love your stuff. I want to work with you because working with you provides me value. It makes me feel good. It makes me, I don't want to say this word. I'm not saying this, man, but a lot of creators will be like, hey, it gives me clout. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Okay. But creators care about that. The C word. The fucking C word. But anyways, those are the pros and cons. I want to talk about this. The pros are great virality,
great for community building. You can run paid ads, retargeting that same audience, great for influencer marketing. But the downside is longer term game plan because there isn't a direct video viral about your product. And if you're not good at content, you're not funny, it's not going to work anyways.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one of those things where you should only attempt this type of strategy if you are willing to be committed to having social media being a consistent marketing channel for a very long time. Whereas a lot of other people approach social media strategy with like quick hit, trying to bust a quick nut, one night stand, call it a day. Like this is not going to work for you. If you really just want to keep it nice, short and sweet, a little quickie, that's when you just got to optimize for virality while plugging your product. But if you're willing to invest long-term into your social media strategy, you can mention your product a lot less and just go for as many eyeballs as you possibly want. One thing I also want to mention is that, you know, at the end of the day, even for myself, Andrew and I, we're content creators, we're building a product. We openly talk about how we're building a product, you know, the content marketing blueprint. Even when I have to make a little skits on my own personal accounts and I want to talk about it, there's always something a little, like, I don't want to say icky, but it kind of is the best
Yeah, I know
word.
what you mean. It's like, oh, I'm selling something, you know.
Yeah,
it's like,
it is a
God damn
little icky when I want to make organic content as a disguise of trying to sell a product underneath. Whereas when you run paid ads to strictly sell the product, it just feels like way cleaner. And I think if you're a high level content creator, or you hire a high level content creator and get lots of eyeballs, that can get lots of audience buy-in, that can get a lot of trust with your audience, when they eventually do run paid ads with that content creator's face on there, kind of okay. It's like, hey, I see what you're doing. You provided me a lot of value. I'll check out this ad. Normally I'd skip the ads, but I recognize your face, so I'll give it a little watch instead.
Yeah. And I'll say most people nowadays, I mean, this is a general assumption I'm making right now, but I will assume most people know the difference between, like, they know, like, okay, this is a paid ad, this company's using budget behind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So just to wrap up this conversation, I still think for most products out there, B2B or B2C, still try to just go viral with a product when you're starting out. Make content about your product, keep it very simple, show the benefits, show the features, show the outcome, you know, have a hook that targets the audience, because it mostly eliminates the variables of having to be good at making content, right? You gotta be good at acting, you gotta be funny, editing, etc. Because when you just make content about your product, you're like very plainly showing out the features. You're betting that your product has enough of a wow factor and solves a problem that if it does do those two things, it should in theory sell itself, right? Accounts like Jenny.ai, PDF.ai, you know, ShopDev. A lot of the content they're making is just them plainly talking about or showing their product. They're not doing some crazy fancy editing, but because the product actually solves a problem in consumers' life, people are like, this is cool. I want to save this. I want to share this with my friends. So it's worth a shot. But let's say after 20 to 40 videos, if nothing really seems to be taking off and you like, all right, we gave this a fair shot for 2 to 3 months, then at that point, I'll say, let's switch up your strategy. And this is like never plug the product, because to be honest, this account does also make videos that does plug the product as well. Like they do talk about the product. And actually, very quick, they actually had one video that I thought was so genius. It was like an ad integration video where he was replying to a comment reply. The comment was asking, hey, you're the social media guy. You don't work in product management. You don't work in customer success. How do you know what's happening? And how do you know like how these teams think? He's like, let me show you. And he showed himself that he watches meetings between these different teams. And that's where he gets his inspiration from. And within the video, it shows him using the tool, because the tool has like a ChatGPT like interface where you can ask the tool questions about the meeting, and he shows himself asking questions about the meeting using their tool. I was just like, this is genius, because he's answering a question that people are actually curious about, like, where do you come up with all these content ideas? You don't even work in these teams. Like, oh, I join these meetings, I listen to meetings. I also like sometimes I look up what's happening in meetings, and you know, it was so like subconscious that you didn't even know it was an ad. I was like, wow, I gotta give it to this guy. I really have to give it to this guy. Great account, very smart marketing, definitely one to look at. You know, even your B2C, but if you're definitely B2B, something to definitely look into and see if you can mirror something similar to it. After 20 to 40 videos, let's say if none of the videos plugging your product and actually like, you know, trying to hardcore go viral with your product takes off, then I will consider switching over to the strategy this account has implemented.
Yeah. Agreed. That's a great account. One of the smartest ones I've seen. High quality, really, really high level content creation. That is some really good shit.
Definitely. All right. We'll talk to you guys all next time.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.